everybody, today I'm going to show you how we make our bath blasters. So they're a new product that we have just brought out. It's basically one sachet of a bath bomb mix with all sorts of pretty things inside it, and we take that and you just tip it in the bath and it creates this beautiful like palette painting in the bath. So you'll have the color of the actual powder that we've made, which fizzes in the bath, and then the different shapes and colors and little glitters and little sprinkles and all sorts of stuff that goes in it as well. So it's almost like a painting in the bath. So today I'm going to show you how I make, it's a 3-step process. So today I'm going to show you how I make the little seashells that we put in our Mermaid's Treasure one. So let's start. So first of all, we need to mix the two main ingredients for any bath bomb or fizzing bomb mix, which is citric acid and sodium bicarbonate. Now, the thing with citric acid is it's acidic and sodium bicarbonate is alkali. So you have an acidic product and an alkali product. And when they're together, like if I just take the sodium bicarbonate and the citric acid and I mix them together, nothing happens. But as soon as you add water, it starts to fizz. And that is how you make a bath bomb. So that's basically the 90% of any bath bomb or fizzing bath salts mixture. So what I'm going to do is you always take 2 to 1. So it's 2 parts of sodium bicarbonate to 1 part of citric acid. So normally I use a scale and I measure it in my lab, but obviously today it's just more for demonstration purposes. So I'm just going to eyeball it with a spoon because I've made them enough times that I know. So I'm going to start with the sodium bicarbonate and I'm going to do just 2 tablespoons. Because I'm just making the little shells now, so obviously we'll use more when we do the other one. Then I'm adding a tablespoon of the citric acid. So all we do is we mix it together. I probably need a slightly smaller spoon. Mix it together a little bit. And then I'm going to add the color, because obviously these are purple and they have glitter in them as well. So we're going to add some of our body safe colorant. You never use food colorant in bath bombs and things, because food colorant, it fades, but it's also not for the body. And I'm just going to add a little bit because it is quite intense. I add quite a bit because I want it quite purple. So let's just see how that looks and mix it in a bit. So now obviously once we make this whole mixture wet, it also goes a lot more intense, the color. So we try and obviously make it as purple as possible. So I am going to add a little bit more. And then I'm going to just add a touch of oil, because obviously we need something to bind all of these ingredients together. And when I make my actual bath bombs, I add lots of different liquids. But for this specific recipe, it's just basically simple, so we don't have to add too many other fancy things. So I'm going to add a drop of oil, just so that everything binds together a little bit. Now the reason why I don't use water, you'll see in some formulas, they will tell you to use water or witch hazel or even alcohol, which I also am going to use some of that now. But water activates the fizzing, and so then you end up with a big problem. So if I do use my alcohol, I use 99% alcohol, which has got literally 1% of water in it, so it doesn't activate the fizzing like normal witch hazel and water do. So never ever use water or witch hazel. I'm now going to add a little bit of the alcohol. Like I said to you, it's the 99% alcohol. And you can already see colors intensified as soon as I make it wet. And obviously it doesn't fizz because there's literally just like less than 1% water in. So the thing when you're making bath bombs, you always need to make it the consistency of wet sand. But obviously with this, I'm not too worried because it's not bath bombs and it's not a standalone bath bomb. It doesn't need to be rock solid. Keep its shape like we do with a proper bath bomb. It just is a little shell and they're very, very easy. I just put them in a mold. So I just want to sort of see if it's wet enough to hold its shape. So I'll show you in any case, because it probably is going to be, yeah, the consistency of wet sand, which is when you do that, it stays like that. So that is literally perfect. So this is quite messy. So there's no ways I can work neatly when I'm doing this. So I'm basically just going to push it into the shapes. Now working with a silicone mold is not ideal. I never, when I make bath bombs, work with a silicone mold because it gives way and it's not solid. So it's very difficult to keep the shape of the bath bomb. But I don't have as nice a shell mold in like a hard plastic as I do in my silicone one, and so I just kind of work around it. It's fine for such a small thing, But if you're making like a bigger thing, like I've got lots of silicone molds that I obviously use for soaps and for resin, I can't use them for bath bombs because they just don't hold their shape. So, you know, they give way when you squeeze. So I'm making sure that everything is packed as tight as possible, because that is one of the biggest secrets of bath bombs. And then we're gonna scratch all of this off so that it's just a little bit neater and I don't have to do it afterwards. And I'm just gonna go over every single one, make sure that it's hard enough, and if it isn't, I feel there's like a little bit of give in some of them, I'm going to add a little bit more. So once these, they're going to stay in here, they're going to dry. I normally leave bath bombs to dry overnight, but these are small and they dry, especially in the heat, they dry really quickly. But to be safe, overnight is always best. So there is that pretty much done, and then we're going to leave this and we are going to come back when they dry, and we're not actually going to do that because I have some that I already made. So there we go. So that's what they look like, and we just leave them somewhere safe to dry. So now we're going to make the base of the bath blaster, which is basically the fizzing color part that goes, that's the bulk of in the product. So we're going to make the base, and then we're going to put it into the little sachets with all the pretty things that go with it. So we're going to do the same again. It's 2 bicarb to 1 citric acid. So I'm going to first do the sodium bicarbonate. I'm going to add that. I'm just going to do 2 big tablespoons of this. Again, I do normally weigh it in my lab, but for now we're just showing you. And in any case with this, it's not important because 2 to 1 is fine. There we go. Then I'm going to add the colorant again, which is the blue this time, because we have like the blue for the Mermaid's Treasure, because it's almost like the sea. So we want blue in there. So let's just mix that in and see how blue it is. Again, it goes a lot more concentrated when it's wet in the bath. Now you'll see there are some lumps. So I do sometimes sieve my sodium bicarbonate, but it's really not necessary, especially not for this recipe. And you can just take your fingers and just get rid of the lumps. I'm not actually going to add any more blue because I know that this is going to be much more intense in the bath. That is pretty much it. Super easy. Then I'm going to add 2 very important things. Number 1 is glitter. I actually also add glitter into the little shells and things as well, but I actually forgot for the video. So now we're just adding it in this part. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter as long as there's glitter. So like, that's what's nice, is that this is the kind of stuff that I can be super creative with. I don't have to worry about following an exact formula like I do with my skincare things. This is just like whatever Janet feels like doing that day, that's what we do. So that's the glitter mixed in. So all I'm going to do now is add our secret fragrance oil, just a little bit. I have obviously got a specific amount that I use. Just add a little bit, not too much. Mix it in nicely. And then this is the base, like I said. So once I've cleaned up, then we are going to come back and I'm going to show you how we put it together in the sachets, and then we're going to show you what it looks like in the bath. So there we go. As you can see, it's beautiful, blue, sparkly, smells amazing. Okay, so now I'm going to fill the packet. So this is basically then what goes to the clients. I always put the label on first because it's difficult to get the label on if the stuff is inside. So the first thing that we do is we just fill it with the actual blue powder, which is obviously the base of it. And I normally measure 100 grams on my scale, but obviously I kind of know where it is. It's about halfway, so that's good. Then I like to add everything on top so that it looks quite pretty, otherwise it's all mixed in and you can't see it. So then I just add 5 of the shells. I'm actually doing this wrong now, but it's okay because I normally mix the mix inside, but this it will fall through. And then I found these beautiful sugar crystals that have got little mermaid tails. I mean, have you ever seen anything so cute before? So I'm always on the lookout for things, and I see them. That's basically what sparked the inspiration for this Mermaid's Treasure one. So I will also just measure on a scale, but I normally do probably a little bit more than I should have put in. And then that kind of just mixes in a little bit with the powder, and then that's how it ends up looking. I mean, so it needs to look beautiful in the packet as well as in the bath. And then we seal it. And these packets are really nice because they're easy to seal. And then that is basically it. And now we're going to show you what it looks like when you put it in water. So we're going to do the Mermaid's Treasure one. We're going to show you how it looks in a bath. Okay, so let's go. So the whole point is to throw it all in at the same time. That's why it's called a bath blaster. And you can see the glitter and the mermaid shells. And then at the end you're going to have all of the little pearls and the little tails that come floating to the top. So now I'm going to show how you will make the secret garden one, which is green with the pink flowers. So this one is obviously the green base, which we use, which I obviously have previously made. So I'm just going to fill it up again with about 100 grams. I also have these beautiful little soap flowers. So I like to mix those in with the green. Oh, it smells amazing. This is like a secret garden fragrance. It's like a florally, spicy fragrance. It's really good. So we've got those things in. And then we're going to take the little pink flowers. So these dissolve in the green, which is so pretty. So we're going to do 5 of those as well. And there is glitter in these ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfecto. Okay, a little bit more green. And just add it on top. And there we go. Now we're going to show you what the secret garden looks like when we put it in the bath. Okay, so there we go. All at once. There we go.